The Hunt for Dansksi by W.A. Blinko. Time was running out. A fragile peace deal had been reached. The catch? Bring the outlaw Dansksi to justice. Dansksi had played the Defense Corps off against the Sylvanus system perfectly. The bounty of 10 million credits was the largest ever offered by the Elder Council, gaining interest from all corners of the United Colonies. Nanas didn't need the money. A life of privilege meant he had to find other challenges in life, the thrill of the hunt, and the satisfaction of bringing men like Dansksi to justice. He watched as the election on Oblar descended into chaos, and the fallout with Sylvanus was more than he could stand. He had friends on Oblar, friends that hoped for a better life, making this personal. Dansksi had declared war on what Nanas believed, and he would make Dansksi pay. Dansksi had disappeared, proving himself a worthy adversary. After almost puppeteering a war, Nanas wondered if Dansksi had ever faced the consequences of his actions. He surfed the dark web for clues. Dansksi was a professional and had covered his tracks well. Patience were the key. Sooner or later, Dansksi would make a mistake. Finally, he found something. Nanas checked his gear, a customized stunner, sleek but deadly if needed, a K-bar knife sharp enough to shave with, binoculars, a state-of-the-art sniper rifle. Dansksi hole up was a disused outpost, a smart plan, hiding in plain sight. Traveling light, he boarded his ship. The journey would give him time to memorize the layout of the outpost. He set a course to land a day's hike away from the outpost to avoid detection. Plotting the final approach, Nanas' thoughts moved on to how he was going to make Dansksi pay. With a swift movement, Nanas disembarked his ship and prepared to march towards the outpost. With every step, he was closer to serving justice. The bounty would be halved if he killed Dansksi. Nanas smiled to himself. The paycheck was irrelevant. Nanas was wary of patrols the closer he got to Dansksi's location, but he wasn't about to give up. Nanas paused. The outpost stood out against the night sky. Grasping his binoculars one last check, it suddenly became clear that Dansksi had powerful friends. The outpost was fully covered with security cameras, motion sensors, and armed guards patrolling the perimeter. Realizing he had been given bad intel, Nanas strategized on the spot. The outpost was secure. Nanas selected his point of entry. He put his plan in place. In a prone position, Nanas selected targets through the scope of his sniper rifle and calibrated the setting. With his rifle in place, Nanas moved silently, using shadows for cover. His night vision goggles helped him plot the path ahead. Every now and then, Nanas checked his watch, making sure it sent out an EMP disabling security cameras. With each move calculated and precise, he infiltrated the outpost, adrenaline coursing through his veins, getting closer to his prey. He found Dansksi in a fortified room, surrounded by screens displaying election results.
You took your time.
Nanas paused. Dansksi was not surprised to see him.
It's over, Dansksi,
he said, his voice cold and steady. Dansksi didn't flinch. Nanas moved round, making sure he couldn't be jumped. Dansksi smiled.
What? You think I hadn't planned for this? I know all about you, Nanas.
Nanas slipped the safety off his handgun and swallowed hard, keeping Dansksi in his sights.
You think this will end here? Who sent you? Was it Sylvanus or...
Dansksi sat back.
The Elder Council. Finally, the relics from Earth have stepped up. My backers will be pleased.
Enough talking, Dansksi, you're coming with me.
Just as Nanas moved forward, the room went silent and dark. Gunfire erupted, the deafening sound echoing in the confined space. Nanas dived for cover, blindly returning fire. Between the gunfire, he heard Dansksi's panicked voice barking out orders. Nanas' mind to a split second deciding his next move. He had to end this now. Dansksi let out a shrill. He had been hit. Cussing as he stumbled, Nanas was closing in. Suddenly, Nanas was shoved to the ground, his ribs slammed by Dansksi's boot as he fell. Rolling onto his back, Nanas raised his gun, letting off 2 rounds. A sadistic laugh broke the silence. Nanas got to his feet, cautiously checking the room. With one swift motion, he ducked and pirouetted 180 degrees, slamming his fist into Dansksi. Dansksi fell back, instantly pinned down by Nanas.
Rich people like you made me.
Nanas gripped Dansksi firmly, pulling him up to his face.
Criminal scum like you made me, so I guess we were even.
Nanas stood up. Dansksi was beaten and in custody. Pushing Dansksi in front of him, using him as a shield, Nanas withdrew from the outpost.
You came alone.
Dansksi sniggered.
The guards outside will cut you down.
We will see.
A dozen guards greeted them in the courtyard. Dansksi couldn't contain himself.
See, I told you, now what?
Nanas looked round. He was outgunned, but not outsmarted.
We know you're alone, Nanas, so surrender.
Nanas backed up against the wall, pulling Dansksi closer.
Don't just stand there, shoot.
Dansksi ordered.
Good idea.
Nanas whispered into Dansksi's ear while clutching his pocket. The guard dropped to the ground, gunfire echoed around them. Dansksi watched in horror as his security guards were cut down before his eyes. Gripping Dansksi firmly, Nanas moved towards the exit with his prisoner. A small vehicle was close by. Without thinking, Nanas headed towards it. Dansksi resisted, but Nanas was too strong for him. The engine fired into life. Nanas approached the fence, and then turned towards the gunfire. Suddenly Nanas stopped and disappeared. Expecting to meet Nanas' accomplices, he was shocked when he returned with a sniper rifle. Nanas noticed the shock on Danski's face.
A fully automatic targeting sniper rifle, every bounty hunter should have one.
The last thing Dansksi saw was the ship that would transport him back to justice. Nanas, satisfied with the hunt, plotted a course for the closest precinct to collect his paycheck. And next job. Thanks for watching, please subscribe. A Cooling Tiger Media production, story by W.A. Blinko. For more details visit wayneblinko.com.